Okay, what I have found with the people of New Mexico is that they are very uninformed about not only what the probate process is, but what the probate judge is. Blank stare when you introduce yourself. Don't know that the court exists, don't know that we're a small office in the county office building. So I do have a plan for getting the public educated on probate. And I would like to be able to travel throughout our county, and I would like to be able to educate people on not only what the probate judge does, but how they can stay out of probate, the preparations that they can make so that they never end up in probate. And I do have a heart for that. My background in a small business, I sold life insurance for 17 years, and each time I sold a policy, we talked about wills, we talked about trusts, we talked about probate. And I was able to counsel people not on who to go to or what process to do it in, but just the fact that everybody does need to take care of this very important item in their life, so that a bad time comes along, their family is not left in worse crisis. So I'm looking forward to reaching out to the people of Sandoval County so that everybody at least knows what a probate judge is and knows where to go in the time of need.
Thank you, Sandra. Charles, same question.
Okay, the public knowledge of the process varies. Some know the need for the process, which is to transfer property in the estate. Some have never heard of the process, and they don't know what the probate judge is for. So what I've done in the past is I've visited the senior centers and any other organization that invites me to present the process, because it's a very simple process. And not everybody has to go through the probate program, but it's good to inform the community. So I would continue to visit and talk with whoever wants to talk about the probate.
Great, thank you. Okay, back to Delilah and the magistrate judges. The question was, is qualifications for a magistrate judge include legal experience, good moral character, and judicial temperament? Describe how you rank in each of these areas.
It's interesting to hear this type of a question, because I didn't realize I was going to be ranking myself today. I didn't realize that judges are supposed to rank themselves with a score of either high, mediocre, or low. But I guess I'm a good solid 8.5 if I had to say so. I've been doing this position for 12 years. I think that, in my opinion, actually, is that being a good judge is someone that's personable, someone that understands the issue, someone that is from the county, that has actually lived here their entire life, so they understand every community, whether it's a native or a non-native community. I also believe that in the question it actually talks about being moral. Being morally correct, or having some morals. I think that along with having morals is having ethics. Because you have a certificate that says you graduated from somewhere, or because you have some type of a degree, does not mean that you are ethical. So my understanding of it is that I am actually moral, and I am ethical. You're either born with it, or you're not born with it. It's not something that you can be taught. So in addition to that, I noticed that judicial temperament was brought up. And my actual interpretation of judicial temperament is patience. Patience is the #1 quality for every single judge. Every person that comes in front of me just wants to be heard, they want to be recognized, and they want to be acknowledged. And if you don't have the patience in order to do that because you have your own biases as far as decisions, then that's going to be difficult for you.
Okay, thank you, Delilah. All right, back to the sheriff. So, Jesse, you'll receive this first question here. How would you promote recruitment and retention of qualified officers in Sandoval County?
Well, the Sheriff's Office will recruit from within. I think the most important is morale, professionalism, accountability, and leadership. And if they can't have those qualities, then I don't think they'd be fit to be a deputy. But to answer the question is definitely within, through social media and advertisement, and also let the applicant know what Sandoval County has to offer.
That's great, thank you. Heath, same question.
Currently, we advertise consistently and constantly for certified deputies that have the experience, and we bring those to us or vet those deputies to find the ones that are career-minded, professional, and have the citizens' best interests at heart within Sandoval County. And then occasionally we open the process up to non-certified candidates that have never been in law enforcement so that they have an entry point into the profession. Currently, we're fighting metro area, particularly Albuquerque Police Department, has made it very obvious that they're reaching and trying to grab law enforcement officers from any and every agency in the state, and I'm sure that they've actually reached out to other states to ask for those officers. It's hard to compete with $29 an hour that APD is going to pay. It's hard to compete with $27 an hour that BCSO Bernalillo County is paying. But we are competitively paid within the metro area. We're just a few cents different than Rio Rancho Police Department. We're a little bit ahead of Santa Fe Police Department. But we're always looking for that quality candidate to bring onto the department that has the citizens' interest at heart.
Okay, thank you, Keith. All right, going to the magistrate judges. First question will go to Justin. So the question is, what qualities do you believe is needed to be a good judge for Sandoval County?
So if you look in the handbook of judicial ethics, it goes into patience, as we heard from my opponent, open-mindedness, but I believe judicial temperament has a lot to do with restraint. Being courteous, being firm, being understanding, compassionate, being courageous. Those are all qualities I display every single day, not just when I wear a uniform, but when I'm off duty as well. When I reached out initially and I was going to run for magistrate judge in Division 3, I reached out to a Court of Appeals judge in California. We had very similar interests, and he actually took me on. He's been a very good mentor for me. His name is Justice Bedgeworth of the California Court of Appeals. He said, for me, it's not about the law, it's about people. And that's what related to each other when we were started to talk, and we had a wonderful conversation about this, because that's exactly what it is for me. It's about people. It's not about the law for me. It's about people that come before the court because people have problems. The law is there in place to provide solutions, provide resources to the disputes, and to promote fairness for people. It is never more present that I have stood up from the moment I decided to run till now, that I will stand up for the people. I fought for people for 14 years. I'm a good, strong individual, and I'm going to be a good, strong judge. I'm not going to stand idle by and watch our court be diminished, admonished, or otherwise turned into a circus of headlines when I know that we have the best community, safest community, and a prosperous community.
Thank you, Justin. All right, same question going to Delilah.
So this question actually goes along with the first question that we were asked. So in addition to the previous qualities listed in question 1, I think that being a good judge actually is being personable, but also being empathetic. You don't have to sympathize with people's situations, but you have to at least empathize with them. Every person that comes in front of you might be the first time that they actually are introduced to the magistrate court system or any court system. So I like to think of the magistrate court, as kind of like the front lines. We're the first point of contact for people. So if you make them feel comfortable and they're able to actually get their point across, speak their mind, and you listen to them with empathy, with patience, then I think you're doing a good job as a judge, and that's basically something that I've done. One other thing that I've done for the past 12 years is when I make a ruling or a decision, I do it straight off the bench. I don't take 30 days, I don't set it aside, I make a ruling instantly. When I make these rulings, I make them very simply. I don't embellish. I don't actually come up with any cute anecdotes or any type of poems or references. I make it simple so that way everyone understands. It's clear and concise. The attorneys appreciate it because they are able to do a better quality of performance as an attorney. The defendants appreciate it, but actually everyone in the audience appreciates it because they're sitting there saying, I have no idea what that judge just said. And when you're in my courtroom, you know exactly what I said and you understand it. And it creates less stress and a less stressful environment. That's part of my job, is to maintain the integrity of the courtroom.
Thank you. Anne Marie?
So we always ask for respect in the courtroom, and that's one thing you will definitely get from me. As a public servant of the community, you can count on me to be accountable and accessible. I'll always continue to be actively involved in community events. I will be reliable and honest at all times, no matter what the type of case comes into my courtroom. Always listening to all sides. I will be fair and impartial with my ruling. Sometimes this may require educating individuals on programs available for various offenses, and I am up for the challenge of doing so. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's continue the same questions to the probate judges. So what quality do you believe is needed to be a good judge? And this one goes right back to Charles.
To be a good probate judge, you have to be approachable. And I've lived my whole life in Sandoval County, and I know all the little communities, and I know families from those communities. So when they see me at Walmart or someplace, my wife hates to send me to Walmart because I can spend an hour because I see people that I've done work for. The other aspect of being the probate judge is marrying people. And you wouldn't imagine people would remember you for a long time, but even today, walk into the range or walk into Walmart and people say, Your Honor, and you married me. Oh, okay, congratulations, you're still married? Yes. So there's a conversation, and I think the knowledge of the county and being approachable are the two things that they need for the position.
Thank you, Charles. Sandra?
Hi, with the probate judge, you're dealing with very sensitive family matters, be it the death of a family member or the joy of a marriage. And you've got to be patient and empathetic and compassionate for when that time comes that they're in crisis, and you have to celebrate each marriage with joy. It's a service position to serve the people of Sandoval County. And I think being dedicated to that on a daily basis, even on the weekends or evenings if need be, that would be the quality for this position or the qualities that this position needs for probate judge.
Great, thank you.